It's Runtime. So here is everything that happened in Indian tech over the weekend. First of all, India has officially declared August 23rd as National Space Day. And so there were a number of updates on Saturday, but the one that stood out to me was that Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a pretty bold challenge to India's space tech sector to increase rocket launches to 50 per year. Now, currently the rate is between 5 and 6 per year, and he also asked for 5 unicorns in 5 years. He wants 5 Indian space tech startups to be worth more than $1 billion by the end of this decade, by 2030. Now, obviously, it's not going to be fully up to these startups and their founders. The government of India will also be driving reforms and supporting the sector. Currently, there are more than 350 space tech startups in India, and many of them are going to benefit from new policies like India's 0% GST for space tech startups and the 100% foreign direct investment that's being allowed in certain parts of India's space sector, not to mention the 1,000 crore rupee fund for space tech that is being managed by SIDBI Venture Capital. And then finally, he also talked about how India will launch its own space station someday. So it's very clear that India is very bullish on space, and that bodes incredibly well for Indian founders that are building for space. Also, one investment-related space update here is that Reliance Industries is apparently in talks with Digantara Research Technologies to invest $50 million into the company. Now, Digantara is a space situational awareness company. They're developing end-to-end infrastructure with the goal of addressing the difficulties of space operations, and $50 million would be massive because the entire space sector raised just $81 million in 2024. So this investment would equate to more than half of what Indian space tech startups raised last year. And the industry as a whole is projected to be worth about $77 billion by 2030. All right, next up, a little update on the conversation around AI Fiesta here. Hemant Mohapatra, who is a partner at Lightspeed India, posted on Sunday saying, "I'm sorry, but if you're an engineer working for a company named AI Fiesta, your chances of finding a job after this one goes under are basically zero." And this post saw a lot of action. Gaurav Munjal, the founder of Unacademy, said that he thinks it's awesome that YouTubers are trying to launch products and that the United States is full of solo founders who are doing between $5 and $10 million in ARR with basic AI wrapper products, and that India should be encouraging this culture rather than dissing it. Nikunj Kothari, who is from FPV Ventures, he said that this is why founders dislike VC so much. Don't hate the player. We are nothing without the founders and the founding team. And somebody else said, you guys, and he was talking about Lightspeed here, funded by Jews and were fully okay with their unethical practices. So I'd ask you to sit this one down, but VCs with takes like yours deserve their hate, so carry on. And then Anmol Maini, who is a general partner at Untitled VC, replied saying, if this is you and you ever need a job post AI Fiesta, please DM me, which I thought was nice of him to say. All right, next up, Ultrahuman, which is one of India's leading smart ring companies, has filed a patent infringement lawsuit against a Finland-based company called Oura in the Delhi High Court. And Ultrahuman is claiming that Oura copied features from their smart ring, like women's health tracking, circadian health tools, and glucose monitoring. Now, this is happening after Oura had previously sued Ultrahuman and another company called Ringcon in the United States for patent infringement. And the U.S. International Trade Commission actually initially ruled in Oura's favor and blocked Ultrahuman's rings from the U.S. market. But now, though, as Ultrahuman is suing Oura, Oura is calling Ultrahuman's new lawsuit a distraction. They're saying it has no merit, and they're pointing to their win in the United States to back that up. Ultrahuman, on the other hand, argues that Oura's patents are recent and that they're being used to limit consumer choice, and they're accusing Oura of copying the architecture of their Ring Air smart ring and profiting from it through subscriptions. All right, next up, IIT Kanpur C3iHub hosted their Startup Demo Day 2025. This is a tech innovation hub at the university, and at this event, they showcased 5 startups. One of them, Aerosys Aviation, is building an autonomous kamikaze drone for GPS-denied precision strikes. Another one, Garuda Aerospace, is building a solar-powered unmanned aircraft with 12-hour endurance. And there were a couple of other startups that demoed at this event too, like SecureDAP, which launched a blockchain forensic tool, XIOTs, a cybersecurity startup, and Saptang Labs, which has built Blackfence, a cyber threat intelligence platform. All right, next up, eBay is setting up a new office in Bengaluru, and this is their first global capability center, and they were internally debating about where to set this up. According to eBay's Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, the talent in India in general is amazing. We were debating between Bengaluru and Hyderabad, and we decided on Bengaluru as the quality and diversity of talent is really attractive here. Now, this new office will be used by about 300 engineers to work on problems in AI and machine learning, applied research, data analytics, and more, and it's going to play a pretty important role for eBay going forward. All right, next up, Ola Electric has changed what they're using their IPO funds for, as well as the timeline that they've set for utilizing those funds. So Ola Electric's original plan was to use their IPO funds to expand their battery cell manufacturing plant's capacity. Their original goal was to achieve 20 gigawatt hours of capacity by 2026, but now they've actually changed this plan, and so instead they want to limit capacity to just 5 gigawatt hours until FY29. So this is a pretty huge strategic pivot, which they're saying is because of the slow growth of India's EV segment. It wouldn't make sense to increase battery capacity when demand is so low, they're saying. And so they'd rather allocate those funds towards more urgent and strategically important matters. All right, next up, Garuda Aerospace has inaugurated their defense drone facility in Talambur in Chennai. And this facility is going to be used to develop UAV systems for defense and disaster response. They also unveiled 5 new drones: the Avalanche Victim drone for high altitude rescue, the Swarm drone for coordinated surveillance, the Jawan drone for frontline support, the canister dropping drone for payload deployment, and Drone 2.0, which is an upgraded multi-purpose UAV. All right, that is it for the Indian tech news from the weekend. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. And if you haven't already followed or subscribed to Runtime, make sure to do that right now. I'll catch you in the next one.